Good afternoon, friends. How you doing? Well, I say good afternoon. It's presumptuous of me. Good whatever it is, at whatever time you are watching and listening to this. My name is Paul Murphy, and this is a series of I'm going to be reciting and perhaps talking some backstories about some of my song lyrics and prose pieces. They're mainly song lyrics. What I'm doing here, very briefly, recently a house excavation turned out some original song files. This was started in 1989, I think, and so I used to take one of these everywhere with me and jot all my lyrics down into it. Cafes and parks and bars, wherever I went to. This would come with me in a pen, and something hit me or something inspired me, I'd write it down. I think this is video 7, and I'm literally just going through trying to make a record of them for reasons which will be in the notes down at the bottom. So they're not going to be straightforward readings because I'm going to be putting some cadences in on them as well. So for people who will perhaps come along after me, and if they wish to put music to them, they get some idea of where I was looking at. And I'm just taking them as they come, in the order in which they were written, and I'm not looking a page ahead, as I left the last video. I turned the page, but I ran out of time on the last video, and the first one up is the original handwritten lyrics of a song that I was very proud of, and in fact didn't just stay lost for the 34 years that the rest of this material has. Well, around 1990 now, so 33 years. In that this one came out and made it into my stage act for, I have no idea, maybe a year or something or another. And funny enough, I only sang a version of it recently, by recently maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. The original handwritten lyrics here, they do not have the chorus to it, which I added later. So this is just how it came out of my head here, but this time around I will. For this I will put the chorus in. So that is the 2-minute introduction, and between songs there'll be a 5-second gap so I can put a timestamp in. Don't tell me that you'll change. It's no good for you to sit there in front of me crying, telling me you're going to change and put things right. It's all just words, 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 and they mean nothing. My mind's made up, and I'm leaving you tonight. Don't tell me you still love me. I don't want to hear it. Because you killed the love I had for you a long time ago. So don't say that you need me, that you can't go on without me. You've hurt me so much, more than you'll ever know. Don't tell me that you'll change. You always say that. Don't tell me that you'll change. You never do. Don't tell me that you'll change. It's too late for that. You can't change, and I can't stay with you. I'm leaving behind all the bad moods, all the tempers. I was not so much your wife as your property. You stripped away my confidence and my self-respect. Now I'm going to recapture what you've stolen from me. So it's no good for you to plead with me to stay with you. You've had your last chance time and time again. I'm walking through the door with no regrets or second thoughts, and I just hope it's not too late for me to live a life again. Don't tell me that you'll change. You always say that. Don't tell me that you'll change. You never do. Don't tell me that you'll change. It's too late for that. You can't change, and I can't stay with you. I kind of threw myself out there because that's one of the ones that I know. I was I was surprised to see the lyrics here. The original lyrics are I changed them when you stripped away my confidence and my self-respect. There's lyrics here, but that's not in the finished version, shall we say, that one took along. And you've had your second chance time and time again. In the song, it's you've had your last chance time and time again. Okay, although I'm actually copywriting the smaller ones, this page here has just got the letter D on it on the top line. And then nothing, so I won't bother copywriting the letter D. Some of these actually I've gone through at some point, obviously, because in different handwriting, scribbled down handwriting, and a lot of them I've just scribbled down post-it notes and put a title on. So this is called Idle Patterns on Silk. Scarlet thoughts flew through my mind, and 1,000 visions of you. Days unnumbered that I've yet to find, fell foul of the deeds left to do. Recalling shades of solitude, unkind but still so warm, deceiving those who dare intrude, like the calm that's before the storm. Dismay a brother to apathy, controlled by some unbound. Sirens wail like chimes of doom, forcing some to ground. Guilt-edged tears on sculptured face, an uncaring facet reflect. Actions birthed from ignorance, look for someone to expect. I'm not entirely sure that one is finished. It's got the kind of, to me it kind of looks like, there might have been some more to come through it. Okay, well I've got some idea of where we're to now, because the next one has got an annotation on it that doesn't have a title. It's got an annotation, then it means it's been judged as finished, but it doesn't look it. Okay, I'm going to call this one Messages in Blood. Messages in blood. Sounds going down in and out of my head. Scenes going by nearly left me for dead. Time running out. Might not have too much left. Paid my way with love, but it left me in debt. Tried to stay distant, oh, it was a ruse. Feels like I'm heading for the Tony Hancock blues. I fought the fire, now I'm caught in the flood. Messages in ink and messages in blood. Say farewell to angel, say hello to my fate. I made my move, but I made it too late. Shouted defiance, then felt myself slide. Nowhere to go to, nowhere to hide. I had so much guilt, felt it running in my veins. Too brave to hide, too dumb to abstain. Was I too complex, or was I concerned? Was I so wary because I'd been spurned? Did I lose control, or was it taken away? Could I have done things an easier way? I faced the tempest and bartered with thieves. I stayed behind and watched everyone leave. The outcome was certain. I'd seen it before. I knew the answers, and I knew the score. Who needs salvation? You can keep paradise. Death is the purchase, and life is its price. And that was written on the, goodness me, that was written on the 22nd of December. Oh, sorry, wrong, it was written at 22:12. On the 11th of September, 1989. Oh, how strange, I thought we were in 1990 here. That beep in the background is telling me my internet has just died. So I have to reboot my telephone, so if you'll forgive me for just a second here, because, yeah, I thought so, I've got no signal, and I have to keep it permanently rebooted so that, well, like, I was going to say if I need an ambulance, but if I need an ambulance it's May the 1st, 2023. If I need an ambulance in June, I'd better make the call now. That's a bit strange, I don't have it to hand, but the file that I was reading off yesterday started off in 1989, and then the last few in it were in February 1990, so I assumed that this file here, was there anything here with any annotations in, would follow suit and would be 1990. So what I must have done, I guess, is that I must have, well, obviously, no big mystery, I was obviously written in that one and then mislaid it or put it to one side and filled this puppy up, and then when this one was filled I went back and filled the other one up. So many of my wives have said to me, can I have this habit of little scraps of paper everywhere and bits of envelope torn up and everything, and well, you can't see any, there's none to hand here, but, well, they're not very far out of the way, but I mean everywhere. It's a lifelong thing. And I said, why are you keeping this bit of paper? Well, it's just a blank piece of paper and it's like a cut off from another piece. But when I was growing up, when I was, I don't know, when did I leave home? When I was 15, so we'd need to work backwards from that. Goodness me, can you hear the neighbour's dog barking away outside there? Everyone's a critic these days, huh? Rover, he's poeming again, go and bark outside his window. We never had any paper in the house when I grew up. Cigarettes and alcohol, there was always cigarettes and alcohol in the house where I grew up in, but there was never any food, and there was never any clothes, or new clothes, paper. So, and it just, sets in, and even though, I have at times been quite wealthy in my life and then lost a lot. Man, breakups are expensive in more ways than emotionally. So I have this lifelong habit of sort of never wasting a piece of paper, because I was always writing or drawing or something, or trying to, So, so if I found any bit of paper in the house, I would just take it to my bedroom when I was growing up, just so I had something to write on later on. You youngsters today with your telephones. I was thinking that I was in Peterborough. Must be about a year ago now. And I can't remember the name of the song now. It's only here on my telephone. But and I met a lady there who was a bit down on her luck, which is how I met her. She came up and hit me up for some small change, which turned into some large change. I guess she's probably not with us anymore. I saw her a few times, and the last time I saw her, she was in a very bad state. She was on her way to hospital, actually, in her veins had gone, putting bad things inside herself. And as she walked away, I'd given her some more money, and I knew she wasn't going to go to the hospital, And, making a beeline for the hospital, and then got some money, and then made a beeline back to the guy on the push bike that was selling her the bad stuff that she was hurting herself with. I had this song come to me. It's quite an empowering song. It's about someone asking them to make a change and turn their life around. Of course I had no pen and paper, and very difficult for me to write. My hands numb now in any case. So I was sitting there on a bench in the high street of this shopping thing in Peterborough, in the very bad part of town. I don't think it's a good part of Peterborough. One hates to be prejudicial or generalising, but that's why I was stabbing this song to myself on my telephone. I wonder if I can find it. I could go off message, I guess, and read it now, because I've never done a recited version of it, I don't think. 18th of April. I have no idea how you do all this stuff here. Bear with me just a second. Okay, we've got... okay, the last I heard from her was the 29th of July 2022. I hope she's still around. Well, I mentioned her name, Annalise, and she just wanted, when you nooks down, then obviously wanted some money, and I'd said, sorry, I'm far too ill to travel anymore, so I shan't be coming back up there. So you must look after yourself, young lady. Life is very short and very precious. Be good, all. Thank you. Very sad to hear that. I will try hard, I promise. I hope she did try hard. God bless her. I was 90% sympathy and caring, and 10% just a little bit angry, because I'm dying. I don't drink, smoke, take drugs. I've always exercised and looked after myself, and I'm dying of this disease. 61. And there's this 30-year-old, and I'm leaving behind two of the most wonderful children in the world, 9 and 10, and she has a 10-year-old daughter. And putting all this stuff in her veins and just shooting her life away. Anyway, so here is the song that I wrote for her on my telephone, and I wrote this at 15:13 p.m. on the 17th of June. So that would be the last day I saw my son. I was just waiting for the disability taxi to come and take me to the train station. Anyway, so I don't know if this has got a title. It does have a title, I can't think of it. Okay. Oh man, that's so annoying. If I'm going to put this online, I need to come up with a title. Okay. Okay. Let those broken memories gather dust. I know you're down. I know you're hurting. And I know that life has dealt you some bad marked cards. But through the rain, the sun will come shining. All that's been broken can be replaced, or at least mend the shards. You've been let down, been taken for granted, been taken to places that nobody should ever go. But things can change. Just take that first step. Keep going forwards, and the past becomes a ghost you don't need to know. The roads that you've walked were flanked by life vandals, by people who used you for their selfish ends. Cross a fresh bridge now. Leave the old one to crumble. The future gets better when you greet it as friends. I know it looks hard. I know it looks daunting. The present is taunting. You can't escape my clutch. But things easily change if you only let them. You've taken the blows now. It's time to take comfort's touch. Get off the treadmill. Unchain those shackles. Cast off the jackals and let them feast on themselves. What grows in shade? Little of beauty. Let those broken memories gather dust on your new life shelves. I know where you've been. I know what went down there. I know that tomorrow doesn't have to be the same. Don't stand on sand. Build a foundation. Remember the good times. They're yours to reclaim. Kind of lost my place on what I was doing here now, but anyway. I don't know what I was saying before I sidetracked myself, so I would go. Goodness me, okay. The next one is called Entropy Love. You don't find too many songwriters that use the word entropy. What was the one? Malefactor. I did a new verse of Prairie Winds last night. No, 2 nights ago now. And you don't find too many songs with the word malefactor in. I'm going to cough, please excuse me. Thank you for your forgiveness. Entropy Love. This could be so amusing if it wasn't so sad. Just sitting here musing on things we never had, thinking that we're worse off than anyone could be. I guess that's the curse of the ghost of entropy. We should find this funny. It's right before our eyes. Put such value on our money, put none upon our lives. It seems we always want more than we could ever get. Always say we're so poor than those that we forget. Say we never had a break. I would not say that's true. Chance is always there to take or let slip through. Desire's always on your mind, and you've got to shake it off. Jump off the production line while the landing's soft. Always got some new complaint, and not always your own. Such a picture that you paint, but my ears turn to stone. Better turn the lights out and look the other way. There's no easy way out, so it looks like we'll have to stay. That, I guess, is a piece about thinking you've... I was thinking about this myself recently. A house full of things here because I've had to put my affairs in order. It's really strange in England where I've been waiting over a year for my daily care to come and help, and I've had to sell off what I own to pay people to occasionally come and help me do things. And I resent it for 2 reasons. A, I've paid tax for 45 years and a damn lot of it. I've paid national insurance for 45 years and a lot of it. I've contributed to a pension of which I will never live to see. And now I have to sell things that would be to pay for this to be done. But it's money for my children. Really, it's my children, in effect, because they are my only relatives. My children are 9. This is England. I'm going to go off on scale here, but people ask me all the time where I get the inspiration for songs from. Well, so you've got a couple of examples there. So I bumped into a drug addict in town and made her acquaintance. I saw her one time. She was in a really bad state. I knew it was the last time I was going to see her because I knew that, she didn't look good, but I wasn't in a good state either. So one of us wasn't going to make it very much longer. And that inspired that song. The one I've just read is obviously about having too much. But this is where one gets the inspiration for, my social commentary songs, for instance. So if any of you have read my book, Bitter Realities, which is probably my most well-known of my, what people call my protest albums, but I mean they're just social commentary albums. That's the phrase I prefer in any case. I mean, if you want to call them protest items, it's as good a word as any, you know. Railing against injustice is a bit of a long-winded phrase, you know. And this is where it comes from, you know. You see the injustice in this situation. So I have no next of kin, so in essence, so I have to sell off my guitars and what went last week. Oh yeah, my Snark guitar tuning unit, etc. There's two sides to this dodecahedron. Firstly, you have to be, I'm not laissez-faire about it, you just have to be accepted. There are no cash point machines in heaven. And that song that I wrote back in 1989 is the attitude I have to take now when someone buys a £200 piece of musical equipment off me for £28. It's all profit at a certain point, but you have a house full of things, you accumulate stuff in your life, you know, for what, in the end. Kind of reminds me of Queen Elizabeth's funeral last year, you know, and at the very last part of it, before she, you know, disappeared down, they snatched the crown and there's some kind of rod or something off the coffin lid. No matter who you are, you go out with absolutely nothing, you know. But I really resent the fact, as I'm saying, that my 9 and 10-year-olds are in effect paying for my bins to be taken out because the bin men refuse to collect the bins from here, for instance, and they're paying for someone to come in, and I don't put anyone off their dinner and take bottles away that don't have milk in them, you know what I mean? You know, and that's their future, you know. So I've worked all my life and paid tax all my life, and what I leave behind, I should leave behind to be turned into cash assets for them. But I've literally, figuratively, literally, as I've had to put my affairs in order and sort all this stuff out. I mean, last week I had to buy my own funeral, which was 1,200 quid. Well, actually it's 1,297, so I guess you can round that up to 1,300. And then it said, if you die on a weekend, then there's another £200 fee. For what? You know, that ain't my weekend. Well, we got to put you somewhere. No, you don't. Just leave me on the floor here for 2 days. What do I care, you know? Be a puddle of goo in any case. You know, but it's kind of like digging your own. You've had to dig your own grave, you know, before the inadequacies of the social care system. So that's where I get a lot of my, that stuff annoys me, and now I'm living it, but that's always annoyed me, those inequalities, all the way through my life, you know. People not getting a break when others have, you know, there's a song called Politician. I can't remember which of my lyric anthologies it's in. Maybe maybe One More Rainbow Before the Lights Go Out. I'm Taking a Stab in the Dark. That I wrote about 3 years ago. And that song was about, they just introduced some kind of extra penalisation or extra means testing or something for people who are on benefits. You know, to check that they were on call 40 hours a day. You know, if a job came up in Venezuela and they refused to take it, you know, then their benefits would be stopped. Rules and regulations brought in by MPs who were claiming thousands of pounds for the notorious Duck House and employing their wives as their secretaries for 28 grand a year. It has to be a level playing field. If you earn more because of your talents, your abilities, that's fair dues. But for people who fall through the net, because how did that happen? You know, maybe they fell through the net because their school wasn't good enough. Why is that their fault? you know, and they've got to carry that cross all the way through their life. The other side of the coin is, of course, Annalise, you know, chooses to. I gave her £30 that day that I wrote that song for her. I insisted she ate something, so I gave her £10, and she went across to one of these snack bars, and she came back with a burger, and it looked like she'd almost forgotten how to eat, you know. And and then she said, you know, can you please give me some money for food? And I said, we both know you're not going to spend it on food, don't we? I said, but please don't. At least, well, you know. But I had to make the contract, and choosing to do that. But then again, she wanted a house, you know, somewhere that would get a fresh start. Poems and songs, they seldom fix the system. But from my point of view, I've never felt that it was a pointless exercise, or that one was shouting or whispering into a hurricane. Because the shortest thing on the planet is someone's memory about an injustice, you know, which is why every day on the news in this country a child is being abused, and it comes up as a headline. And these days, it doesn't seem to even have any shock value anymore, because of and this heads back to what I've written in Songs of Injustice, the song about the young boy being beaten up by an abusive parent. One of my more harder hitting songs, one of my most hard hitting songs, and based on a true story as well. I'm running out of time on this file here. I've gone a little bit wide-ranging, and because the file's going to run out, I'm not going to be able to tie up all these loose threads now and get it back to the point. Tune in for the next video's exciting episode on, hello, has anyone handed in Paul Murphy's point? Yeah, I'm not going to be able to wrap all the ends up. That gives you a rough idea where I was going with this, how things inspire me to write songs, social injustices. Don't trust politicians. Think for yourself.